Paramatmane Namaha. Dear Divine Selves, today we are going to do Nidhidhyasana, profound Vedantic meditation for self-realization, part 2, that is based on the supreme wisdom for self-realization revealed in chapter 20 of Ribhu Gita. So let's go straight as to what aids, tools and techniques for self-realization Sage Ribhu is revealing to us, on which we have to meditate. First we have to listen, Shravan, then we have to reflect, Manan, and then Nidhidhyasana, profound Vedantic meditation, and that takes immediately, if done with full attention and devotion, to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that in which the intuitive, immediate, intimate self-realization is revealed, experienced, the ultimate glory. So let's do. I am taking up this Ribhu Gita because there are a number of great, wonderful treatises on Advaita Vedanta and self-realization, but none is as direct, as simple, as straight, which takes you to the core of your existence, to the Supreme Self within, straight. That's why I am doing it, and I intend to maybe 15 to 20 episodes on Nidhidhyasana, because there is nothing else. It's not entertainment or intellectual gymnastics. Vedanta is not intellectual gymnastics. It is the effort, endeavor by an individual self to realize the self within, the Brahman within, the Sacchidananda within, through the help of the Upanishadic Mahavakyas. And Ribhu Gita is one of the greatest treatises which reveals in utter simplicity and yet very deep profundity and crystal clarity the revelations and or expositions of Mahavakyas, the aphorisms of Vedanta, and essentially the Nidhidhyasana, profound Vedantic meditation, is to be done on Mahavakyas. So for proper understanding the true essence, the true purport, true meaning and implications of the Mahavakyas, you need to first understand in full details. That's why Am Brahmasmi or Soham or Tattvamasi is being explained by Sage Ribhu, so that these are not mere words, just chanting verbally or mentally even the highest mantras is of not of much significance in Vedanta unless and until you understand the significance, the meaning which could straight hit within, and then you get soaked, absorbed in that supreme reality of Sacchidananda. Therefore, we are going to understand what is the secret spiritual instruction on that ultimate reality through the Mahavakyas of Upanishads. Let's see. And the Shravan Manan and Nidhidhyasana, you are listening at the moment and reflecting and then meditating. It can happen simultaneously, but since it is in the world of duality, somebody is saying and somebody is listening. So listen and reflect on it at the moment, and then it should be used as an aid, a tool for profound Vedantic meditation, Nidhidhyasana for self-realization. That is the purpose. So let's see what says Ribhu is saying in chapter 20 of Ribhu Gita. Rahasyopadesh Prakaranam. The topic of the secret spiritual instruction, the secret Guhyatamam, the secret of secrets. Spiritual instruction in the tradition of Advaita Vedanta, Paramahansa tradition, that is instruction, exposition and elaboration on the Mahavakyas, their true purport, their true meaning, their true significance, so that the disciple and the seeker understands the true meaning and then gets absorbed. After Shravan Manan Nidhidhyasana, he gets absorbed. The ego-based and mind-based individuality gets absorbed in the Supreme Self, in the pure consciousness, that is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and thereafter it becomes a Sahaj Samadhi or Gyan Samadhi, unbroken. Even if you are eating, sleeping, waking, whatever you are doing, you are in Samadhi, in the deepest realization that you are Brahman. Ribhu, Nidagha, listen, I shall tell you what is rare to come by in all the worlds. All this is Brahman, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. All this is nothing but Brahman and Brahman alone. Listen this carefully, reflect on this and meditate on this. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. All this is Brahman alone. The highest is Brahman. Only existence, consciousness, bliss is. Brahman means in Vedanta Sacchidananda. The entire Vedanta philosophy is an exposition or an effort to explain this word Sacchidananda. Sat Chit Anand. Sat, the existence or truth. Chit, consciousness. Ananda, bliss. The Brahman is of the nature of eternal existence, pure consciousness and absolute bliss. That is the Brahman. Let's understand it further so that we could meditate upon that. And we are Sacchidananda, we are Brahman, we are never anything else, but due to ignorance, due to mental projections and ego-based ignorance about our true nature, we have come to believe that, oh, this body is a reality, this world is a reality, we are the ephemeral mortal body. That has to be transcended through instruction of the Guru, and after understanding, reflecting and meditating on the same, you have to get absorbed in Brahmanhood and you have to become Brahman. That is the purpose. The variety of persons of the world, the variety of actions and causes, anything apart from Brahman, all are unreal. Because Brahman alone is basis, background and substratum of all the phenomenal universe. That is essence. All is indeed existence, consciousness, bliss. All is indeed Sacchidananda. All is indeed Satchit Ananda. There is none other than Sacchidananda ever. That's Brahman of the nature of Sacchidananda alone exists. Reflect on this and meditate on this. for self-realization, God realization, Brahman realization, for realization of your true self. I am Brahman, always Brahman. I am indeed Brahman. Time is Brahman. A moment is Brahman. I am Brahman. There is no doubt of this. There is no doubt of this. Reflect on this. The Veda is Brahman. The highest is Brahman. Truth is Brahman. And is also the higher than the highest. Brahma is Brahman, Vishnu is Brahman, Shiva is Brahman, the changeless consciousness. The changeless consciousness alone appears as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and the infinity of phenomenal universe and gods and goddesses. One Brahman of the nature of Sacchidananda alone appears as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and all the deities, gods and goddesses. All the Upanishads are Brahman. Equanimity is Brahman. I am equanimous, self-poised. The unborn is Brahman. The essence is Brahman. The sky is Brahman. Brahman is higher than the highest. Brahman is higher than the highest because it's the ultimate reality, supreme truth. There is nothing higher or superior to Brahman or Sacchidananda. Realize this, and you are that Sacchidananda, you are that Brahman always. Meditate on this. Truti, a fleeting moment is Brahman, the mind is Brahman, a group of separate individualized things is Brahman, the ever joyful, all this is Brahman alone, the highest is Brahman, the truth is Brahman, Brahman is ever the japa. Just the same truth, that is profound Vedantic meditation. The truth is one that has to be reflected and meditated upon millions and millions and millions of time. There is nothing else. Just on this truth that all is Brahman, I am Brahman, of the nature of Sacchidananda. That's why he is repeating the same again and again in some form or the other form. This truth alone is to be soaked in every single cell, every single hair, every single pore of your body. Every single mental modification is to be soaked and illumined by this truth that Am Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. There is nothing other than Sacchidananda, the eternal existence, pure consciousness, and infinite bliss. That is the one truth that has to be first listened to by the Guru or Shastra, then reflected upon to understand the true purport of the sutras, and then meditated upon. That leads to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, in which your true self is revealed for your intuitive, personal, direct experience. Brahman alone is, nothing else is. All is only existence, consciousness, bliss. One who has this certitude is one liberated at once. There is no doubt of this. At once, the one who is fully convinced within is liberated instantly, immediately. Because the long and wrong-held belief, long-held belief that I am body-mind alone is the root cause of your suffering, sorrow and bondage. Now know for sure that you are eternal Brahman of the nature of Sacchidananda, existence, consciousness and bliss, and abide in that. This abidance with certitude will immediately liberate you from all bondage, fear, sorrow and sufferings. That is the supreme glory, that is Moksha. That alone is Brahman realization, God realization, or self-realization. In that state, the finite becomes infinite, the ephemeral becomes eternal, the ever sorrowful, suffering, and fearful becomes ever blissful, free from all fear. The fearlessness is the watchword of Upanishads. Fearlessness is the Maha Mantra and sole objective of Vedanta philosophy. That state of yours where there is not even iota fear, because you and you alone exist. You and you alone are pervading and permeating every single atom of the universe. One non-dual, indivisible self of the nature of pure consciousness is radiating and permeating in the entire universe. Therefore, there is no one other than and apart from the self, the Brahman and Paramatman. Therefore, who are you going to be afraid of? Who are you going to be fearful of? None. You alone exist, and therefore you are free from all fear. All the world of duality, the phenomenon of duality, which is root of all fear, sorrow, suffering, jealousy, hatred, dissolves into the one non-dual unitary bliss of consciousness, the Atman, the Brahman. So reflect on this and meditate on this deep meditation, profound Vedantic meditation, that is Nidhidhyasana, means get absorbed in this, get soaked in this reality. Then the truth reveals in your Antakarana, the inner instrument, that is Buddhi, intuitive revelation of the Supreme Truth happens. That is called self-realization, that is ultimate glory. Then and then you become free from all sorrow and suffering. That is the ultimate objective of every human being. Brahman alone is, nothing else is. All is only existence, consciousness, bliss. All is only Sacchidananda. All is only Brahman of the nature of Sacchidananda. Reflect on this, meditate on this, to become Sacchidananda, to become Brahman. Because whatever you meditate upon, the same you become. You have been thinking, reflecting, contemplating, and meditating on the false illusory objects and persons and beings of the phenomenal universe. You have become that phenomenal universe, the ephemeral, mortal, false, illusory. Now you shift your focus of attention, direction of your attention and concentration to the seer within, the eternal self within, the Sacchidananda, the Brahman within, that is Atman within. By that change of direction of your attention, love, affection and devotion, that is called bhakti, that is devotion. There is no other. The devotion to the truth, the devotion to your ultimate inner core of existence, and surrender of all ego-based false identities. That is the supreme devotion which alone reveals the supreme glory. Attainment of the supreme bliss happens in that supreme surrender. Surrender of the illusion, ignorance, misconception, so that you become established in eternal truth. Immutable reality you abide in, and once you meditate on this, you become that. It's one of the most fundamental principles of Upanishad. Entire Vedantic teaching is based on this, that whatever you think of, whatever you meditate on, that you become. Kit Brahmar Nyaya. That is very fundamental logic. There is no fear for me, as all is only of the nature of consciousness and bliss. No fear. Once I realize that there is nothing other than blissful consciousness, and I am that blissful consciousness, one non-dual, only reality, and none is there ever in existence apart from me, outside me, away from me. Therefore, there is no cause for fear. I am now free from all fears. Imagine mental creations. All fears are mental imaginations. Beyond the thoughts, there is nothing called fear. Beyond the thoughts, there is no world. Beyond the thoughts and mind, there is no duality, no ignorance, no bondage, no sorrow and suffering, dissolution of mind and mental modifications leads to the cessation of the world of duality and abidance in the Sacchidananda, the Brahman within. That is the purpose. Even Brahman is also nothing else. All that is only existence, consciousness, bliss. The Brahman is not a void or, as in Buddhism, or anything else or some mysterious reality. No, it's a scientific term, Sat Chit Anand, anything that has eternal, immutable existence. And what is, there is nothing in the universe, it's a matter of personal experience, other than the knower and the seer, that is pure consciousness, that is eternal and immutable. The entire universe, the experiences of the physical phenomenal universe occur, happen, or illumined only in the vast spacious awareness. That spacious awareness is Sacchidananda, that is pure consciousness, is Brahman. Meditate on this and abide in that truth. The consciousness within, the seer and knower within, that is Brahman, never seated there. You can't listen, hear, understand anything outside consciousness. Everything, every experience, good, bad, ugly, every enjoyment, every experience happens only on the basis and background and substratum of consciousness. One non-dual, indivisible consciousness alone is Brahman. That alone is eternal existence. That alone is blissful. That Sacchidananda you are. That Brahman you are. Reflect on this. Meditate on this. Get entire life soaked. Every thought, act of yours must be directed towards this mantra. This one truth, that all is Brahman and I am nothing other than Brahman of the nature of Sacchidananda. Attuned always to Brahman. Attuned means devoted to, always focused to that Brahman. That is called Brahmanishtha, Satyanishtha, Atmanishtha. Abidance in truth, abidance in Brahman, that is the meaning of tuning. You are at the moment, the bound soul or ignorant soul is tuned to the world. False, illusory, shadowy, apparent, objective world you are tuned to, devoted to. Sensual pleasures, why? You see those external gross objects alone as true. You don't know the seer of them and the core and substratum of all that. So you are tuned to the world. So you are suffering, you are bound, you are ignorant. Now get tuned to that supreme reality, the Brahman, that you get devoted to. That is through mental, physical and verbal. Every single act, thought and word of yours must be directed towards that Brahmanhood. That is tuning to the Brahman means very deep abidance in that Brahmanhood of yours, not just chanting mantra, just reading the sacred script. You have to get tuned to that. That is the key to self-realization. Everything should get tailored, everything should get directed to that Supreme Brahman. That is tuning into Brahman. You say, na, tune, earlier they used to say, tune to this frequency for this all India radio or this, that. Tune to pay your attention to things, you pay your attention to this frequency, this particular object, particular thing. So now pay your entire attention to your reality, the Brahman within, and therefore the mystery will reveal of itself. I am only the self, that is bliss of the void. It's very fundamental. In Buddhism, the ultimate reality, Buddha is projected to have declared that is ultimate reality is void, there is nothingness. Now, here is the deepest secret of Vedanta being revealed by Ribhu, that in Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the voidness, what is void? Void means that there is no consciousness of any name, form and attributes. That is, you are not aware of any object of the gross world. So, an ordinary person, a deluded person calls it void. But for a rational mind who is deluded, there is nothing else that you could say. In that sense, it is void, but that void is blissful reality. It's not shunya, it's not void. It's the ultimate reality. That reality is Sacchidananda. That reality is Brahman. That is what he is saying. I am bliss of the void. The void alone is Brahman. The void alone is Sacchidananda. The void alone is Paramatman, the Supreme Self. And that void is your own true nature, true self. That void is ever present as seer and knower of the entire universe and every single experience. So you have to abide in the void. That void alone is the Brahman. The void alone is true existence. There is nothing other than the void which exists. The life force in its purest form is void. That is called pure consciousness. It's without nameless, without name and forms and attributes. That's why it's void. Void you are. The moment you become void and abide in void, supreme bliss, the nectar of supreme Brahmananda you would enjoy. You would become eternity. You are always eternity. You would become, by your own realization, that you are all in all, always. You are omnipotent, omniscient and omnipresent Sacchidananda. That almighty Brahman you are always. Due to ignorance you have superimposed this body consciousness, mind consciousness, which were hiding the glory of your Brahmanhood. They were hiding the eternity and of your true nature and creating a false illusion of ephemerality, mortality, momentariness. It's all due to ignorance. So transcend that ignorance and abide and enjoy the nectar of void. That is what in Nirvikalpa Samadhi the sages and seers enjoy. And that is the objective. Once you do truthfully, practice truthfully, with utmost sincerity, this Nidhidhyasana, you would begin to enjoy that nectar of Brahmananda. Not for thousands of years or years. No. It can happen in a few days. I am saying on the basis of my own experience. Just do with utmost sincerity. If you have the hunger and thirst for self-realization, Brahman realization, for freedom, absolute, it will happen. It does happen, it can happen within moments, but as a practical experience of mine, of course it can happen in a few days and few weeks, even for ordinary people. If, and the capital if, you have sincere and true desire, you are a true seeker, an authentic seeker of truth, then the miracle will happen, because you are the miracle of all miracles. Atman alone is the supreme miracle. The rest of the miracles you hear of, they are all illusory. You are the greatest miracle. The Brahmanhood, the Atmanhood is the source of all miracle. Know your miracle. You are always miracle. But that glory of your nature has been hidden by your ignorance about your true self, by false belief that you are body, mortal, body made of flesh, blood and bones. That is none of yours. The body is an illusion in you, and the mind is all illusion and appearance in you. You are infinite, eternal Sacchidananda. You are Brahman alone. Ultimate truth you are. Abide in that. Remember that I am consciousness alone. Prajnanam Brahma. Chidoham. Chidaivahamasmi. I am consciousness alone. Chidaivahamasmi. Chidoham. I am consciousness alone. That has to be practiced, reflected upon and then meditated upon. Chidoham, Chidaivahamasmi. Any one of the mantras can do the miracle. Abide in that consciousness, the formless, nameless, attributeless consciousness, the knowing and seeing power that is non-dual, ever-present reality within. Reflect and meditate on this. Practice Nidhidhyasana on this. Chidoham, Chidoham, Chidaivahamasmi. I am nothing but pure consciousness. I am always of the nature of consciousness. I am embodiment of consciousness. I am embodiment of knowledge, infinite, non-dual, eternal knowledge. I am. Reflect and meditate on this, and then abide in that supreme glory, enjoy and drink the nectar of Brahmananda, the bliss of Brahman. I am of the nature of eternal reality, just the self of pure bliss. I am devoid of the manifold world. I am just existence, consciousness, bliss. I am just Sacchidananda. I am just Sacchidananda. I am consciousness, existence and bliss alone. Renouncing even the transcendence of words, focus on just being consciousness. That's very fundamental to understand. Focusing on consciousness alone, that is called abidance in truth, abidance in self, abidance in Brahman. That alone is called Brahmanishtha, Atmanishtha. That alone is Sthiti Pragyata. That is the state of a Jivan Mukta, a liberated one, while still alive in this body. You just abide. And that is the definition of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. When consciousness is conscious of consciousness alone, that is the supreme state, that is Samadhi, and that is what you are supposed to do by hearing, reflecting and meditating on the Mahavakyas of Upanishad. You are supposed to abide in that consciousness, because you are always consciousness. In consciousness there is no duality, there is no triad. Consciousness can't be divided. Your consciousness and my consciousness, due to illusion and body consciousness, are appearing as two. The consciousness, as in the case of space, ether, can't be divided. It is a partless, indivisible reality. That is Brahman, that is Atman, that you are, that abide in that alone. Ever remain the knower of the truth. Again the same thing. Knower of truth is who? That consciousness. Once you know that consciousness is the ultimate reality, so knower of that also becomes the consciousness and nothing else. The mind dissolves, mental modifications dissolves, because mind and mental modifications are just illusions and apparent entities whose essence is nothing but pure consciousness. Every single thought of yours is illumined, animated by nothing but pure consciousness. So every thought, even the mental projection, also has only pure consciousness as its basis, as its background, as its substratum, because that is the ultimate reality. That consciousness you are, that consciousness is the supreme reality. That consciousness alone is source of all love, bliss and beauty and existence. That consciousness alone is known as Sacchidananda and Brahman. That consciousness you are. Know this for sure and abide in that glory. Enjoy the bliss of Brahmananda, the bliss of consciousness, Chidananda. That is what Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am always the Shiva of the nature of blissful consciousness. Blissful consciousness is my nature. And blissful consciousness alone is the ultimate Shiva. Shiva is nothing other than the blissful consciousness, ever present, omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent reality is Shiva, and that Shiva is of the nature of blissful consciousness. Reflect on this, meditate on this, and abide in this. That would lead to instant liberation, immediate self-realization, freedom absolute, unconditioned, unfettered. Love would become so intrinsic, inherent to every moment of your existence once you know your true nature. Love is your nature. Beauty is so intrinsic to you. Bliss is your birthright. As in the case of sun, the light is intrinsic, natural and inherent to sun. As in the case of fire, the heat is so intrinsic and natural to fire. Even so, you in your true nature, in your true self, as the Atman, the Brahman, you are embodiment and infinite mass of bliss, love and beauty. There is no beauty apart from you. There is no beauty outside you. The external notions of beauty are just mere projections of the beauty of the self. Atma Saundarya, Atma Saundarya, Brahma Saundarya, Brahmananda, Atmananda alone manifests in the entire sensual pleasures and the objects of the senses. The root is within you. The root of all bliss is within you. The real is within you. The outside is only false. The real, original substratum is within you, and in the external world, whatever experience of bliss, beauty or love you have, it's an imagination or a projection on the basis of that inner reality. So enjoy the real. Why you are going for the unreal? Why you are going to enjoy the painting of something when the beauty incarnate is available before you? Why do you want to enjoy the love, imaginary love of somebody when your real lover or beloved is ever present with you? Even so, you, the Brahman, the pure consciousness, the blissful consciousness is source, substance and substratum of every dimension of love, bliss and beauty. Enjoy that true bliss of yourself, your nature, by knowing yourself and abiding in that Brahmanhood, that Sacchidanandahood. That is the ultimate glory. That is the supreme objective of the Vedanta philosophy and the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads. Renouncing attachment to the body, because body is false, mind is false, and all the network of relationships we have created based on the body are false, illusory, and source of all fear, sorrow, suffering, attachment. Therefore, renouncing attachment to the body, renounce the very substance of thought. Always be of the conviction that I am the self, I am myself, Aham Atman. I am Atman alone, I am Brahman alone. Abide in this certitude. I am Brahman, this is Brahman, I am Brahman, and this, even this which could be immediately indicated about the phenomenal universe, the world, this too is Brahman, Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya, Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha. The Jagat and Jiva too are nothing but Brahman alone. I am Brahman, and everything else, even of the names, forms and attributes, is nothing but my own manifestation. The Sacchidananda alone has manifested as sun and the moon and the galaxies and the stars and the infinity of the worlds. Everything is my own glory. I alone have revealed my own glory. I am the seer, I am the seen, I am the sight. There is none other than the me. I am the lover, I am the beloved. Bhokta cha bhogyam swayameva sarvam. Bhokta cha bhogyam swayameva sarvam. Preyasi cha priyatam swayameva sarvam. Preyasi cha priyatam swayameva sarvam. Reflect and meditate on this. I alone am the lover. I alone am the beloved. I am the enjoyer, and I am the object of enjoyment because I alone exist everywhere. I am non-dual truth. Sacchidananda, the Brahman I am. Every single atom of bliss is my property, my wealth. Because I alone exist, there is none other than me who exists. Everything and everyone in the universe is my own ray, my own manifestation, my own shadow. There is nothing and no one in the universe who is other than me. At the core of it, there is only one reality, the Brahman, that Brahman I am, that Sacchidananda I am, and that Sacchidananda Brahman alone has appeared in the infinity of the universes. The South Pole and North Pole, I am the rivers, mighty mountains, and deeper than deepest oceans, all are nothing but my own manifestations. I am earth, I am water, I am air, I am fire or sun. I alone am ether. I am all the gods and goddesses and every single species of the animal kingdom, starting from the Brahma to the creator Brahma to even a smallest blade of grass or smallest grain of sand is nothing but my own shadow, my own manifestation. Every single drop of water is nothing but my own appearance. Every ray of light present anywhere is nothing but illumined by my own light, because I am Maho Mahaha, the light of all lights I am, because I am Sacchidananda, I am Shiva, I am Brahman. Contemplate on this. Reflect on this and get completely absorbed in this reality that is called Nidhidhyasana, unbroken abidance in this reality. This would automatically result into Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where the supreme glory of the self will be revealed to you. That is called self-realization or Moksha. All is existence, consciousness, bliss. Existence, consciousness, bliss indeed. Sacchidananda alone. Sacchidanandoham, Sacchidanandoham, Sacchidanandoham. The entire Vedanta philosophy is an exposition of this one word, Satchitananda. The Brahman is called Sacchidananda. The Nirakara, Nirguna, Nirvises, the nameless, formless, attributeless, supreme reality is called Sacchidananda, the Brahman. Every single Upanishad and every single treatise on Vedanta is an exposition and elaboration, a commentary of this word, on this word, the Sacchidananda. Understand this true meaning of Brahman or Sacchidananda, that absolute existence, pure consciousness and bliss infinite, that is called Sacchidananda, and that you are always. Knowing this, get absorbed in this reality. through Nidhidhyasana, profound Vedantic meditation, and attain that supreme glory of self-realization. The meaning of all these scriptures is existence, consciousness, and bliss. That is what I was telling you. The meaning of all philosophy, metaphysics, scripture, spiritualist literature, or sacred scriptures is nothing other than Satchidananda, the Sacchidananda. The meaning of all the scriptures is existence, consciousness, bliss. The text is existence, consciousness, bliss. The Homa is existence, consciousness, bliss. The ruler is existence, consciousness, bliss. That's a very profound statement. You can understand it and you must understand it. The ultimate reality that is called Sarvadhar or Sarvashaktiman, the almighty reality, the almighty ruler, that is nothing and no one other than Satchidananda. Satchidananda, the eternal existence, pure consciousness, and infinite bliss alone is the ultimate ruler. That is called, and that is why it's called Brahman or God Supreme. That's Satchidananda. Is the real ruler, the rulers of the physical phenomenal world, as presidents, prime ministers, mortal ephemeral ones are just poor shadows of that. They are frightened today. Every prime minister and president of the world so stressed due to corona pandemic. So people are dying, we are getting infected. How to do, what to do, the economy is going down, we are suffering. That is not the case in the real ruler, the almighty ruler, that is Satchidananda. That Brahmanhood, in Brahmanhood there is no fear because it's unconditioned existence, absolute reality. That ultimate ruler you are. You are ruler of the rulers. You are governor of the governors. You are king of the kings. You are emperor of the emperors because you are always emperor of the empire of the self. Atma Samrajya, Swaraj Samraj. That self-existing eternal empire is yours. All love is yours. All bliss is yours. All beauty is your birthright. All glory is your birthright. All wealth is yours alone. All enjoyment and bliss is your property, your privilege. Knowing that Brahmanhood, knowing your true nature, thus abide in that glory, become the ruler of the rulers, become the almighty of the most powerful. None can ever rule or influence or affect that ruler, the self. That is what is absolute reality, unconditioned, unfettered, not conditioned by anybody else. That is the condition of everything else. That is cause of everything else. And there is no cause of that Brahman or Satchidananda. That is what is a self-effulgent, self-luminous, self-existing reality. That self-existing, self-luminous reality you are, that self-existing Brahman you are, that absolute self-existing Satchidananda you are always Satchidananda. I am always Satchidananda. Satchidanandoham, 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 Satchidanandoham. Abide in this supreme mantra. Get soaked in that and abide in that and drink the nectar of supreme bliss. The perfectly full self is existence, consciousness, bliss. The perfectly full, the infinite full, what mantra says? Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnamevavashishyate. That is being revealed here. That reality is so perfect, that wholesome reality, from which even whatever is taken away and whatever remains, they are all perfectly full, perfectly infinite, perfectly wholesome reality. So he is saying, says Ribhu, the perfectly full self is existence, consciousness, bliss. The one that fulfills is existence, consciousness, bliss. Existence, consciousness, bliss alone is reality. What has been said here should never be discussed by the person of discrimination with those whose minds are given to the pleasures of the world, because it will be an useless exercise. And I am sure whatever I am speaking, those people who are deluded people, they are not interested in knowing their true self, they are not going to listen to it. Only the true seekers will listen to it. Earlier, in ancient times, this Advaita Vedanta and Upanishads were not allowed to be shared with ordinary people. Only sannyasis used to study and practice and know that supreme wisdom. But through the grace of Jagat Guru Adi Shankara gave the authority that now the householders also, who are authentic seekers of the true self and self-realization, they can resort to, they must be shared with this blessing of the supreme blessings, that is the knowledge of the Brahman, that is the ultimate knowledge. All the other knowledge is just imaginary. That is called Paravidya. And that is called Vigyan. What you know as Vigyan, the science, that is Paravidya. And the knowledge of Brahman is Aparavidya, the transcendent knowledge. Because the knowledge of Brahman is a transcendent reality, the knowledge of the transcendent truth. By hearing this just once, listen this line carefully. What a bold declaration by Ribhu, says Ribhu. By hearing this, whatever in this chapter I have revealed and shared with you, what he's saying, that by hearing this just once, by hearing this supreme secret of spiritual instruction, the revelation of the Mahavakyas, by hearing it just once, one becomes Brahman oneself. By hearing this just once, one becomes Brahman himself, because this has given the knowledge of the Brahman, and Brahmavid Brahmai Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes himself Brahman alone. That is the secret. So therefore, after listening, reflecting, and doing profound Vedantic meditation, Nidhidhyasana, on this revelations, the supreme secrets, abide in the supreme glory, enter into Samadhi, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, Akartaham Abhoktaham Avikarohamakriyah Shuddhabodha Swarupoham Kevaloham Sada Shiva. I am always that eternal Shiva, the eternal Brahman. Narayadoham Narakantakoham Purantakoham Purushoha Mishaha Akhanda Bodho Hamashesha Sakshi Nirishwaroham Niraham Cha Nirmamaha Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham.